So let's talk about Netflix and McDonald's.
No, go ahead, Rashad. My bad.
No, go ahead.
You really champion this, and it made me think of the conversation we was having last year about the addition to the podcast. I want you to play CEO for a day. Tune in tomorrow. Kudos to everyone at Netflix. They've gone from 134 down to 67.60. Yeah. What do you think they need to do in order to fix the stock?
Man, it's a few different things because they spend so much money on content. It kind of puts pressure on their profit margins. I think a lot of things are lost leaders for them at this point, like the boxing. They're spending so much money on boxing. I don't know. Yeah. It's hard for me to believe they're actually making money from that right now. What would I do? That's your question. What would I do? I would really. They should be Twitch. Why is it Netflix Twitch? Like instead of like, technically they should buy Twitch, like, and Kai Cenat should have an exclusive deal on Netflix, and iShowSpeed should have an exclusive deal on Netflix. Yep. Like all of these top streamers, because they're already on a streaming platform. Netflix is the premier streaming platform. It's not streaming like in IRL, but that's a pivot that they can definitely make. So I would definitely 100% go streaming. I would definitely invest into sports, but maybe do it a little bit smarter. The boxing thing, I don't really know about boxing. We just saw the World Cup. I would definitely go heavy into soccer, even on the international play. When you talk about, Champions League, I don't know if those contracts is even available or not. But
Peacock has them.
I would try to find something. You know, everything is negotiable on a certain level. So soccer, I would definitely do that. They're already going into the NBA and NFL. I think sports is going to be big for them going in the future. The idea of podcasting is not a bad idea because it's a low level of money that you have to put out to produce these shows. But they just have to find a way to make the content licensable, I think. Because I think that not being able to clip and not being able to see it on other platforms, I think is kind of hurting. So maybe it's an original Netflix podcast. The first week you can only see it on Netflix, and then it goes to YouTube, but it's licensed, or then it goes to I don't know. But I think that they got to try to find a way around that to make it a little bit more open sourced. But I like the idea of the podcast, but I think they just got to try to find a way to make it a little bit more open source.
Yeah. Troy, what about you?
I mean, it's tough. I do love Netflix, and I think they have a lot of things that are going correctly. Number one, the advertising business, if you look at the report, is scaling, right? They're making a lot of money in the ads. Their churn rate is incredible. Like people, people join Netflix, they forget about it. This is like that's the real Netflix and chill. Like you subscribe and you forget that you subscribe and you pay that monthly fee. And then the engagement, like they had a record level of engagement hours in the first half of 2026. So all those things are positive. I think the idea of streaming is going to be very important. So Amazon saw it and they grabbed up Twitch. So can't go that route. But I think what you're saying about soccer is important. And so
football,
because they have NFL, which football as
American
well.
football.
American football. So what Peacock's done with the Premier League, and I'll be interested to see what the viewership is going into the season, which is about to start, because the way that soccer captivated America's attention over the past 6 weeks was incredible. The amount of views that it generated, the amount of money that it generated, I think this is an all-time record. I think it did $9 billion in 6 weeks, which is, think about that. That's ridiculous. It almost got to American football levels in terms of advertisement during commercial breaks, during water breaks, which means that there's a revenue model there. They didn't see it with the MLS, so Apple came and snatched that up. So what could they do? There's going to be a bidding war for the World Cup going into 2030. I know it's going to be in Spain, Portugal, and Morocco. So who gets the licensing right to that? I could see a streamer like Netflix doing it rather than us saying, hey, it's Fox, and the Fox is not the easiest app to do. I think college football is important. I think that's an element that the live sports piece is important. I think college football will be the next segment that they get into. But also, CBS has had a lock on the basketball side, the NCAA tournament. Can they figure out how to now be a part of that? These are all revenue drivers. They're huge in terms of attendance. They're huge in terms of viewership. But there's also that other side that ESPN couldn't figure out, right? That how do we put sports betting inside of it? Netflix hasn't done that yet. I feel like they'll try to figure out a way to add that because they do have the technology and they have a pretty user-friendly interface. But I think the live sports will be important. Live experiences will be important as well. I think when we talked about Disney last week, they have the experience element that Netflix doesn't. And we've been to a few Netflix activations, like when they did the WWE Monday Night Raw. If you ever been to a Monday Night Raw while it's been on Netflix, it's incredible. Like what they do and how they bring people together, it's incredible. But it's a pop-up. There's not a standalone thing that I'm coming along to be at on a regular basis. Can they figure out a way to have something that becomes an experience in the near future? Whether it's, I mean, Stranger Things was popular, but that's gone. Then they had Squid Games, and they couldn't really monetize from that because that's gone. In this world of back and forth and attention spans and shows coming and going, how can they captivate an audience? Whether it's from a streamer or is it from some type of live event that keeps people coming back and makes the experience even that more extended than just watching?
Yeah, I don't know how they haven't done a deal with like you said, Speed, Dean, Beast, Jesser, because you need a consistent person to keep you coming back to the platform. From business side, the business is great. Like the net profit margin is 27%, operating margin is 33%. I think a lot of the rotation out of tech, like they almost got beat up like a software stock, even though that they're not. I really like Netflix if it gets down to that 246, 245 area as a area to buy. But with some of these companies,
240 or for Netflix, I think it's like 66 now.
No, yeah, my bad. I'm looking at the wrong chart. Hold on.
Okay.
Thank you for the correction, my brother.
I got you.
Clippers. Excuse me. 50-24 is why I like it. 50-24 is why I like it if it slides down there. So I think the business is strong, but since I don't think they're ever going to let us have a full-blown recession again. So the new term is the late stage of this economic cycle. I think a lot of compression is happening as a result. I think they've gotten beat up like a software stock as a result. I think it's been unjust, but I think they do have to make a couple of changes and figure out the spending on that side of the business.
Yeah. It's tough. Like I'm even watching what Kai's done with Streamer U over the past weekend.
How do you not even license that or make it for I get the Love Island play and the Temptation, but that's the move of where you want to go to.
Yeah, because you figure that there's, I don't know, 100 streamers in there. Some of them have deals, some of them don't. I felt like Instagram is a big winner from Streamer U because I didn't have to even subscribe to any of it. Like every 3 seconds, it was a new clip. Whether it was was it Dream Doll? It was Dream Doll. Yeah. Shout out to my man Clarence and Queen Naja, and then Dub, and I'm just like, these are the highlights. It becomes a highlight reel. Then DDG comes into the space. I'm like, Pac Boy Max had an interesting moment. It's like we got to see all the. Sure.
we got.
I don't want to offend anyone. Ian. I'm not trying to offend anyone.
Yeah, thank you.
But like, imagine if, like, when Kai walks into his office and all those screens are showing. Imagine if Netflix had a platform where you could actually just pin into the person you want to watch, right? Like,
and that watch time is so important. Oh my God.
Oh yeah. I mean, people watch that like. It's a new age of media, a new age of entertainment. Yeah. They've got it on lock, man. Rashad, these guys are just different.
Why do you think a big platform hasn't? Because I know they've offered, right? But why haven't they secured that deal with a person who is that important? Like they let Mr. Beast go to Prime.
Oh, what you think the number was? They never disclosed that.
I don't know. It was astronomical though, because I know they gave Mark Rober allegedly 30, and Mark Rober not a tenth of the size. Pause.
Hey,
yo.
What about McDonald's? What's the deal with McDonald's?
That's the chart I was looking at. I think at that 246, 245 area, I really like. I don't know. This may be a conversation for Blackout, but food quality is an issue for sure, and there's a contraction for sure. So like my low to low price for McDonald's, if it gets there, is like $2.18. But there's a food quality issue that you have to consider, and it's not being talked about enough. But McDonald's, Starbucks, and a few other fast food chains' biggest competition is Eli Lilly. Like I always say, I'm never worried about the head-on competition. My number one competitors, like in terms of brands, was Cardi and The Rock doing something, and as a technology platform, Apple. In 2022, Apple flirted with the idea of putting out something comparable to Robinhood, and it would give you entries as well. They scrapped it. I don't know why. Right? So McDonald's competitor isn't Burger King or Chipotle or Cava. It's Lilly and Wegovy and that whole suite of products. And now the peptide market is ticking up. So even though they, of course, have the real estate as a long-term investment play, which will work in perpetuity, I don't think people want to pay a premium price for the stock if you have those competitive headwinds coming. But I mean, they had a drawdown in 2020 that went from all the way down to 123, and the high of the year was 233. So if it gets anything in the sub 220 area, they'll be fine. I think everyone is just rolling over to where you can get 50, 60, 70, 80%, and people don't want a 15 or 20% gainer right now. People trying to get fined, y'all. People want to eat that sludge. But hey, the rumors sometimes you got to address online. It's on the feed too much. It's a great business lesson. You can't listen to everything, but if the fever pitch gets too high, you have to address some of these things.
I wanted to ask the public something, because I'm curious to know about this ad situation. Is it the people that are seeing ads? Are you watching it on your television or are you watching it on your phone? Because that might. Because let me put in the comments if you saw an ad recently on this live, did you see the ad by watching it on your phone, or did you see the ad by watching it on your television?
I was assuming it would be on the phone.
Yeah, I think you spot on with the GLP thing. I don't think people are looking at it from that standpoint, from a terms of people can't eat as much as they used to, and people are choosing not to have healthier choices. You put those two things in, and you can see why they're doing that. Yeah, but I feel especially here, when you go into McDonald's, I mean, we're 80s babies, and so that used to be like a family thing, right? Like Thursday night, you get your McDonald's, you're watching the Cosby Show, you're watching Different World, you're watching the Fresh Prince, whatever it is, and like you do that. And now, obviously, as healthier options have come more to the forefront, people are not doing that. But even when you go inside of a McDonald's, it's like a tech hub at this point. Like,
yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
you punch
it. It looks like something out of Black Mirror. Yep.
Yeah, the only time you really seeing somebody is when maybe if you pay, there might be somebody standing there, but it's just a different feel inside there. You know, I thought something that was interesting is it made me think back to the early 90s when the Dream Team or McDonald's would have like a specialized cup, and you was like a collector item cup that you would get. And we used to go and like try to get the meal so we can collect all the cups. And then I saw them bring that back for the World Cup. And I was like, damn, they're really trying to capture that audience again. But I really don't know if that audience is there, right? Like we're older now, we're making better choices. This level of what collector items don't feel the same anymore.